What up, men, and welcome to this edition of War, where we wage war on PC and cancel culture. I'm your host.
And I'm Ray all day.
Yeah, and I'm your producer.
And the main
Freddie.
Freddie. I like that. Is it
Freddie.
What is that, Freddie or Freddie? I'm trying to figure this out.
Freddie.
Freddie. Oh, like a Fritta? Like an apple
Fritta.
Fritta?
Yeah, like a
an
Fritta.
apple Fritta. Oh, you're pretty tall, friggin'
Like
drink
a
of water
Fritta.
over there. I mean...
You know what's funny is the
I don't know if I'd see him as a Fritta. I mean...
Well, you know, I've been called worse.
Oh, yeah. Have you?
You know,
Go ahead, Ray.
the Maynard's usually late, and then he is stepping all over to Freddie's intro.
I know, I
Boy,
caught
he's
that.
chomping at the bit tonight, ain't he?
I was
You know, I
like,
get 30
Chomping at the bit.
I thought he was going to say his name, and then all of a sudden I'm like, and I'm the... And
I mean, he said Freddie, and Mike was trying to take a bite out of his ass.
To talk, man.
No kid. Tell him, Freddie.
keep talking. This is the Mainer.
It's all right.
I like Big Sexy. I think I'm going to keep going with
Big
Big
Sexy?
Sexy. Oh, yeah, Big Sexy.
Big Sexy.
Big
All
tall
right.
drink of water, brother. Come on.
Big sexy it is.
I mean, I've talked to the wife and all, and she's telling me, I mean, it fits the bill.
Well, I'm not bragging.
I mean,
Why
you
are
don't
you
have
talking
to.
to the wife?
Why not? He's my brother. I want to make sure. I want to make sure that it's just not all, on the outside looking in. You know what I mean?
I
Get the ins and outs.
Oh, you know.
Big Sexy.
Making
just
sure
don't-
it's the real deal, Holyfield.
Dude, you guys have no
She
idea what I'm
doesn't
going
bend
through
over
right
in
now.
front of me or anything.
I've had some traumatic situations happen to me
Oh, yeah?
this last week.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
And I probably shouldn't share it with you guys because I'm going to pay for it later. But I had a freaking National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation moment at my house the other night.
Oh, boy, do tell.
Squirrel?
No, you guys know that I have a Christmas tree forest in my house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we got these two trees in the dining room, and they're on spinners and everything, because they got to be on spinners. And we decided to go to move. Now, mind you, we've
Is
had
that
these
fishing
trees
tackle
up
or what is that?
Well, it's spinners,
Okay.
Spinners.
Like spin the bottle.
Spinners.
Let me speak in terms of you understand, Big Sexy. Spin the bottle. You spin the bottle.
I understand that. There's no doubt about it.
But we've had them up, mind you, now since Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Right? Because we try to get in front of the curve.
Okay.
And so we go to the movie the other night, which I recommend that movie, Violent Night.
Okay.
Excellent movie. I mean, it's Santa Claus meets Rambo, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
Nice.
So we come back from this movie. I walk in the house, tired, I sit down on the couch, and there's the wife sitting there looking in the dining room going, "You got to see this." And I'm like, "See what?" She goes, "Nope, you got to come over and see. You ain't going to believe this. You are not going to believe this." And I'm like, "Believe what?" I get up and go in the little dining room, bro. And that damn tree had somehow, some way wrapped the curtain around the damn top of it. I mean,
No way.
I'm not. It looked like a friggin' turban on the top of my tree. I thought I had an Aramaic Christmas tree at my house. But I was sitting there and I'm looking at it. It ripped. It literally ripped the damn anchors right out of the wall from where the what's it called, the pole that holds up the curtains.
Yeah, the
Curtain
curtain
rod.
rod.
Curtain rod. Yeah, ripped the whole damn thing off the wall. Wrapped around 6 or 7 times. So I'm in there pulling this curtain out of the Christmas tree, right? It's a fake tree. All the friggin' leaves are bent and everything else.
Yeah.
I'm pulling bulbs everywhere. I mean, I'm like,
Oh, my gosh.
so the wife and the kids at first, they're laughing, they get a good laugh, and it's all good,
Yeah.
But after a while, it ain't funny anymore.
They weren't pulling the
when
curtain out.
reality sets in and you got to buy new curtains and a new curtain rod and everything else, now this shit's costing me money. I'm getting pissed.
Well, when you told me about it on with the phone, John, what was the first thing I asked you?
You asked me for a picture.
Did you get a picture or video of it? I need to see this thing.
That's the Maina. like I'm gonna sit here and I've got a tree flipping over in my dining room, and the first thing I'm thinking about is, quick, let's take a picture of this.
Hold that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing about the bounce house when all that water went in during the Super Bowl.
Shit! You're lucky you're still my friend after that one.
That was.
You-
I wish there was video. I told Candy, I was like, I'm mad that you did not get video
Well,
of that.
you're smart by bringing it up now in December because I'm going to tell you right now that if it was any closer to the Super Bowl, you would not get an invite to the next party.
Well, we always talk about making, new mistakes. So he made the mistake of leaving the bounce house at your place full of water. And then this week he leaves you with,
no, we're not talking about this.
We're gonna do a movie night.
You want to talk about the movie night at the house? Oh, yeah. This guy, I'm telling you, God's got a sense of humor. I got to tell you, but putting this friggin' ding dong in my life. This guy says, "Hey, brother, what do you think about having a movie night at the house?" I'm like, "All right, that's
That
cool."
voice.
That's your Main and Mike voice.
I made my voice. Okay.
Hey, let's have a movie. It'll be awesome. It'll be a great time of fellowship and all this. So, dude puts out this invite to everybody to come to my house for a movie and then decides to tell me after the fact, "Well, I forgot to tell you that I might not be able to come because I got to go to a Christmas party with a wife." I'm like, who the hell does that?
Mikey does.
Who sets up an event at somebody else's house that they're not going to show up to?
All right, my turn for defense. So.
Oh, here we go. What did you learn about
have
the
no
last
defense.
podcast? We talked about excuses.
It's like inviting
I'm not
somebody
making
to lunch
excuses.
and you can't pay.
No shit.
No, I'm
I
not
forgot
making
my
excuses.
wallet at the house.
No, I sent him a private message to him, and I said, "What are your thoughts on doing it on this day?" And then as soon as you said you talked to Candy, we moved some stuff around.
Yeah, I moved some
Moved my
stuff
movie
around.
night around, and yeah, I can do it. And I'm like, but I just checked my calendar. I read it as I heard the Christmas party said Friday, but no, it was Saturday at the same time. So I was like, let me ask the wife, and the wife's like, honestly, I was thinking of going with my friend anyway. I was like, all right, that's perfect. Let's do it.
No, dude. No,
and then
dude,
all
no,
of a
dude.
sudden,
Who the hell sets up a movie night, doesn't even look at their own calendar?
I did. I just read it
does it?
wrong.
Mana.
I read it wrong.
I mean, it's like me going, "Hey, Fritzy, why don't you meet me at Mike's house for dinner tonight?" By the way, Mike,
Mikey man can.
Mike, you're gonna cook dinner for everybody, and by the way, I'm not showing up.
Hey, this is a continuation of our wAr men's group, dude, that we got.
Oh, here we
What
go.
a
Here we go. This is the shit he puts on me right
You
here.
host it?
This
so I
is
was
the
like,
shit
let's
he
do
puts
another
on
movie
me.
night. This is our
He's like,
second
"Dude,
movie
this
night.
is an extension of war. You gotta do it. I mean, it's about the fellowship."
We're
I'm
watching
like,
Troy.
this ain't the Fellowship of the
Director's
Rings, and you're not Frodo Baggins.
All right. Well, no.
Let's move on. I digress
I
before
deserve
I
it.
choke him out on this podcast.
Dude, you didn't even. I mean, I'm gonna throw myself under the bus again. So
Oh.
I ended up.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be there early. I'll be there early, and
This guy.
We'll get some food or something beforehand. We'll hang out, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, I had talked to my wife, and I'm like, I feel horrible. All the stuff I've been doing recently, I haven't asked you. Do you really want me to go or not? And then she's like, "No, you're good." And I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Well, no.
And then
Back
I
up the
offered-
bus.
Hold on. I offered to bring her to her friends, and then ladies take time to get dressed.
No. Back
ahead.
up the bus. Back
ahead.
up the
All right,
bus,
keep
first
going.
of all. You offered to be her arm candy at this Christmas
That's
party.
true.
And she
was
said,
declined.
quote unquote, "Don't make me laugh." No.
No, she said, "Thanks for making me
Well,
laugh."
thanks for making me laugh, but no. I don't know how I would take that. But he tells me, he says, "Well, he goes, I'm going to be over there at 6:15. I go, "Well, that means you're going to be late."
Yeah.
So then what does he do? He sends me a text message going, "You're not wrong. Ha, ha, ha."
But I did bring some captains.
This-
Everything was okay.
This stupid son of a shows up at 7:36 when we're supposed to start the movie at 7.
No, we're supposed to fellowship and hang out at 7. Come
Not
on.
to mention, it's his movie we're watching.
You know how to.
So the movie wasn't even
This
there.
director's cut movie he's got on his, what was it, Apple or something?
No, this is on Movies Anywhere.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
Apple too, but yeah.
One of his apps that he's got, or whatever you call it. This, he's supposed to be setting up the friggin' movie.
It was on your TV. You had it. You just didn't know what happened. Anyway,
I digress.
You know
Let's
what?
move on before you destroy our friendship.
He said it was on your TV. I put it there.
Yeah. That's what he does. He comes over and puts shit in my house so that he leaves his Captain Morgan at my house. He leaves his Coca-Cola, his Orange Crush, his root beer at my house.
yeah, but you drink my captain. That's
well,
the problem.
that's what you get for pulling stupid shit.
Mike, that's not
Mess up.
bringing dignity back
I'm
to
trying-
masculinity.
Oh, jeez.
But you know what?
It's funny though.
Make new mistakes.
Yeah, he did. He's making them every day.
Hey, we talked
I
about
gotta
that
give
last
it to him.
week.
He's an
though.
overachiever on doing that.
Yeah,
He's
but
an
he don't make the
overachiever.
same mistake.
Hey, you know what? Before we go too far, I'm gonna get into our social media because this is what our second episode. So what we're doing now is we went back into for those that were followers of the battle, for those that were not new, we'd love to we loved it. We love that you guys are here. We have Truth Social, we have Twitter, we have Facebook and Instagram, and looking forward to be talking to you guys as soon as we
Yeah, we also
reach out to
we
us.
got our own email, right?
Oh, yeah, our email. Yeah, arewereadyllc@gmail.com. Or if it's easier, just arewereadyllc. No, areweready LLC at duck.com. So that's just a way of using the, we'll go into it in another episode, I'm sure, but using the DuckDuckGo, which is the one that's the opposite of tracking you of what you're doing online.
Yeah.
So what about the handles on the Instagram and all that stuff? What is it? Is it all?
Yeah, it's wAr. Are we ready? As soon as you type it in, we'll have it. We'll have it on the video. We'll have it on the screen. We'll have everything coming up. But yeah, just wanted to get everybody to know we're back in the social media game.
And we're going to be on Spotify,
Yep,
Spreaker,
absolutely. Yep.
Stitcher,
You name it. Amazon,
iHeartRadio, Amazon.
Music,
We're going to be on all the platforms,
every one of
so
them.
you can catch us on there as
Yep.
well. So.
Whichever one you enjoy.
Shameless plug. Shameless.
Shameless plug.
Wait
I mean,
a minute. That's
Yeah, and
plugging
if you'd like
ourselves.
to
I just got
sponsor
beat
this
up.
wonderful podcast, don't hesitate.
No.
Especially if you're a beer sponsor.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'd love to be
Yeah.
sponsored by a beer sponsor. It'd
We
be
bet.
awesome.
Yeah.
We are not picky.
Are we
Yes.
ready? LLC at gmail.com.
there you go.
Yeah, buddy.
Let us know.
We
Reach
don't
out
hate.
to us.
We appreciate.
That's right. That's right.
We ain't PC up in this mud, boy. We ain't looking at no cancel culture going on at the war.
Hell no.
No. We're going to address cancel
Podcast.
culture head on.
Are we ready?
Yep.
That's
do
right.
it.
So what was last week's episode about?
Well, we talked about bringing dignity back to masculinity.
Right. Right. That's the whole goal. That's our purpose here.
That's the whole premise of what we're trying to do here.
That's the foundation.
Yep.
That's the foundation. And by that being our foundation, we are going to tackle some pretty what how would
Ray,
you
let's
describe
just pull
Controversial.
it back a minute. We're not tackling shit. We're waging war.
Exactly.
waging war?
We are waging war in this podcast against things like cancel culture, political correctness, and that's what we're going to talk about on this episode. We are waging war. We're tired of playing games. We're tired of being canceled. We're tired of being censored. We're tired of the games that are being played and the narrative that's being pushed out there in our communities, in our social media, and all the platforms that are out there. And as we go through this, we see every single day in America where this is now that the cream's coming to the top.
Yep.
And the truth is starting to be, there's a big old light being shined on the truth here, and that's what we want to talk about here on the podcast.
Yeah, and that's going to be kind of tricky because we're going against the narrative of today, and we're talking about being PC correct and being canceled and all that. So it's going to be challenging to produce this podcast without being canceled.
I hope that we're good enough that people want to cancel us. To be honest with you.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Come cancel my ass. I'm waiting for you. Come on.
Bring it on.
No, I mean, I'm all jokes aside. I mean, at the end of the day, why would people want to cancel you anyway? If you obviously you're saying something that's striking a nerve, right?
Right.
Yep.
That's true.
Obviously, you're hitting a chord here. So, and that's what we want to do. We want to make people think outside the box. We want to be able to bring things to the forefront. And unfortunately, when you do that, sometimes you're going to piss some people off. That's just life.
We're going to piss half of them off, and the other half we're going to hopefully encourage to step up and
Yep.
be men.
Enjoying our battle. Literally,
well,
that's what we're doing.
the good thing is that this isn't. We're not reliant upon this for our income. This is something that we do because we're trying to help men. So we're not here going to play the game of, well, we're going to watch what we say and watch what we do, because if we don't, they're going to cancel us and we're going to lose our livelihood. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
No. No, they're not going to hurt us financially by any means.
Yeah, you can't. What did it say? The old saying: you can't get blood out of a turnip.
Right, exactly. You're not going to hurt us with what we ain't got.
Squeeze this rock. You ain't gonna get no water out this rock.
Go ahead. Squeeze it as tight as you can.
So, Ray,
Yes, John.
got a question for you.
What you got, man?
How, when we're talking about this cancel culture and PC, how do we navigate through this in our everyday lives? Because this is a big thing. This is things that people are going through. Guys are having to make some serious decisions and choices. And, and then there are other guys out there that, I'm sorry to say it, you're just weak.
Yeah.
If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. That's what my daddy used to tell me. I don't know about you. I mean, your daddy was a redneck. Mine wasn't. So he might have had some other kind of saying, but
No, but you're right. We talked about it last week also, that you got to draw that line in the sand. You've got to figure out where your line's going to be. And first and foremost, you got to start with your family. You're not going to change everybody's mind. So you got to start where it really counts, and that's with your family. Mm-hmm. So begin there and start teaching your children, nieces, nephews some well, would you say morals, or how do you go about describing
Well, we
that?
said in the last podcast it's about core values.
Core
I think.
values.
I mean, we have to have a certain core value. You know, it was pretty exciting for me this last year was the first time that both my son and daughter were able to vote.
Nice.
And you know, one of the things that I've always taught both my kids is number one, it's your choice. You choose what you want to choose. Number two, make sure that when you choose, that you know what you're choosing. And number three, you know, if you want your voice to be heard, that's how you do it. You know,
Right.
Go make your mark. Go make your. If you want to change the narrative, you want to be a part of change, you've got to get up off your ass and do something. And in our country, we have the right to go and vote. And so, you know, when we look at things like cancel culture and political correctness, if you stand on one side of the fence or the other, you know, when it comes time to make that decision, to decide which way you want to go with this thing, you have the right to go and vote for whatever it is you stand for, what you're about. And are these people with the same core values?
And I like what you said there. You told them make sure they know what that is. Make sure that you do your research. Make sure you look into. They'll write bills and stuff that are completely confusing to the average person.
On purpose.
It may sound like it's going one way and be going the complete opposite direction. So don't just spout off the top of your head. Do some research. Know what you're voting for. Know what you're saying. Know what you stand for. Core values.
And the other part of it, too, is there's guys probably listening to this or watching this, and they've got the question, well, how do I teach my children this?
Yeah.
And I think that it's the way you walk things out. You
Right.
know, you can go into my house right now and ask both my kids. You can say, where does your dad stand? They will tell you where their father stands.
Yeah.
You know, because as a leader of my home, I make it known where I stand and what I stand for. And I've taken the time to educate my children. Okay, this is what dad believes in. This is what dad does. This is how dad thinks, and this is why dad feels this way. Now, you don't have to agree with dad.
Right.
You know, you don't have to do this because dad tells you or you want to make dad happy.
Right.
But if you want to know, Dad, why do you vote the way you do? Why do you think the way you do? Why do you walk the way that you do? Why do you talk the way you do? This is why.
Exactly.
And I think that's a lot of the biggest issue the biggest issue we have with men today is that they don't take the time to teach their children.
Good. And that's bringing dignity back to masculinity, because people have this perception that masculinity is, oh, because I said so. You do that because I said so. You eat all this. You do this. You do. No. Like you said, taking the time to explain to them, to help educate your kids so that they will make their own decisions wisely. That's bringing dignity back to masculinity. And my part, you know, one thing that really drives me crazy is this whole rewriting of history. I know I'm kind of jumping and kind of changing things real
That's
quick.
where I was going.
Yeah.
But
Where my brain's going.
if
That's
you
part
don't-
of the education process, though.
It
Ray.
is,
If,
and
if we don't educate our kids on the truth,
right.
they're not going to understand. I mean, if you don't teach your kids what's true, they're going to fall for whatever they're being told.
Exactly, because if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat
Correct.
history.
Well, and the other part, you cannot erase history. It happened.
It did, period. Whether it
Whether
pissed
you-
people off or not, it happened.
Whether you like it or not. I
Yeah.
mean,
learn from it, make new mistakes.
you can't. I'm going to just jump on the boat, no pun intended, like with Christopher Columbus, right?
There you go.
Don't-
Wrong, or indifferent, whatever he was or whatever he did, whether slaves or not, at the end of the day, he still got in that ship and he still sailed searching for the Indies and ended up in the Americas, right?
Right. Yep.
You can't discredit that. You can't just say that it didn't happen
Right.
because you don't like Christopher Columbus.
Yep.
You know, you can't say that, because of this one piece of him was so-called bad or unacceptable, that all parts of him bad. It's just like I tell people all the time, and I'm going to say something that's going to probably offend some people, but it's just the truth, and I'm going to use this as an example, the extreme example. As much of a piece of shit as Hitler was, somebody still loved him.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could say whatever you want, you know.
People followed him.
People followed him. People did things, or whatever. You know. I mean, he was a turd. You know, I wouldn't have followed him.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
There
but you
were
can't
people.
erase the fact that people did.
Right.
And so, you can't just make pretend it didn't happen. You can't say the Holocaust didn't happen because you don't want to believe that Hitler did that to the Jews.
Yeah.
Right.
It happened.
Yeah, John, I'm glad you bring it up because we bring up Christopher Columbus, and I got livid with just the way that they're treating it now. And what I did is on Christopher Columbus Day, which is what we celebrate when we were kids, when Columbus sailed in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Like, I was quizzing my kids on that, and they're like, "Who? What?" And I was like, all right, guys, we're putting it on right now. We're gonna watch this video. And the problem is that they made Columbus a lot worse on purpose because this was not even woke times. This is the time where they wanted to demolish his career. So what happened with the Native Americans as I watched it is that the Indians there was very nice Indians and there was very cannibalism.
Yeah.
They believed in child sacrifice, eating kids, eating everything, and those are the ones that were killed. What would you rather do? Someone's trying to kill you or kill your kid? What are you gonna do?
Right.
So that's what I did. Is I showed my kids the video. I also showed how people are trying to remove history. I showed them taking out the Columbus statue in Maryland and dragging it across, and it literally looked like a crime scene. You could see the statue just being dragged across the side. And it was gross. It was just embarrassing.
Well, at the end of the day, what is the whole point of history anyway? Is we need to learn something from
You got to
it.
learn from history.
Right.
So if there are mistakes and things that have happened that aren't good, you learn from those mistakes and don't do it again.
Yeah.
You look at, we look at America and it's slavery in America. That was bad, okay?
Right.
It's disgusting to ever own another person. I'm just not down with that. But in the same context, if you're going to go off of that premise about America, well, then you need to tear down the Colosseum. You need to tear down the pyramids.
Yeah.
You need to tear down almost all of Europe. Every castle that was ever built, all these things that have happened in these structures were built on the backs of slaves.
Yep.
Right.
Or people that were enslaved. So you can't erase it.
No.
It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it good. But it is what it is. And you just can't go around just tearing everything down because you don't like who built it or whose name is on the building. That's just
Right.
we have to learn from these mistakes and be better.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know?
So I figured it's the second episode, so I might as well bring up some stats.
Wow, you're gonna.
It only took him two.
It only took him two. Wow, the mayor, statistician.
You know what? Okay.
So proud of you right
Yes,
now.
you should be proud of me.
Just a moment.
He's
No.
basking in the applause.
Over 100 Confederate statues have been removed. Out of the possible 800 in the entire country, that's 1/8 of every statue that was in the United States. And keep in mind, they're not going to tear them down in all of the very red counties, like red and like that. They're only going to tear them down in the blue. They're only going to tear them down where they think they can get away with it. And that's what happened. You lost 100 Confederate statues. Like, they can't even find out where half of them are. They're broken. Like, the broken,
I guess
stolen.
my bigger question on that is, what did it do?
It just
Does
made us
it erase
angry.
the fact that it happened?
You're
No.
right. It still happened.
It still happened. I don't understand.
They just don't want to be renewed of it, John. They don't want to walk by it. They want to and then they're trying to put up a whole bunch of other statues. Like, no, this needs to be here. No, we need to redo this.
I could go in we could have a whole podcast on the way that my people from Ireland would treat it when they came to this country.
There you
But
go.
Your
You know
people.
what? Yeah,
Just you?
well, you get a little red in the beard. I'll take you.
I'm Irish too, man.
What are you talking about? You ain't Irish.
I'm Irish.
You ain't nowhere near Irish.
You're
Irish.
I wish.
I wish.
I wish I was Irish.
My mom's whole
You're
side is all
Swedish.
Irish.
You're
Switzy.
Switzerland. You're Switzerland, ain't you?
I'm at least.
Ain't you a Switzy?
No, I'm not.
At
Swissy.
least a 32nd.
30 seconds.
I'm a 60.
No, I would say. I'm thinking about it right now. I'd say I'm probably 40% Irish.
Well, there you go. Work on your history, and you would know what you are right now.
40% Irish.
MyAncestry.com. Okay. But, do you have any more stats over there that you can share with our listeners?
when it comes to I'll wait until you bring him up. What do you want to bring up?
Well, I just thought maybe you had a couple other ones you want to throw out
Well,
too. You were on a roll. I didn't want to.
Well, I guess
Steal your thunder.
I guess the number of riots that happened, which caused everything to happen after George Floyd, which really, I wouldn't say started this, but really just brought it to the forefront, was the George Floyd.
My belief is that it was the door opening for the politicians.
Over
Yeah,
10,000 riots.
they
To start
exploited that
pushing-
situation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Over 10,000. They're mostly peaceful.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm air quotes for anyone on video. Air quotes.
Well, what's history going to say? What's history going to say about those small business owners that their livelihood was burnt to the ground and they had absolutely nothing to do with any of it.
And a lot of them are minority business owners.
Yeah, so it's just a contradiction of itself.
Yep, exactly.
But then again, we live in this PC culture, and if you stand for certain things, it's cool, and if you don't, then it's not. I mean, political correctness is going to be the one thing that's going to destroy this country.
No. Well, here's the funniest part about it is that it will actually come back and bite their own ass. Because with all the cancel culture and all the race baiting and all this stuff that's going on, it's going to come back and bite them in the ass.
Well, it's already starting to do that when you start seeing some of these folks that were on one side, on that side of the fence, and now they're coming after them too. It's
right.
like
Exactly.
once you start going down that rabbit hole, where does it stop?
Right.
Nope.
You got to always piss somebody off, no matter what you do, whatever side of the fence you stand on. You're going to make somebody else uncomfortable. You're going to make them mad. So, if you're looking at something to the fact of being canceled, somebody's always going to try to cancel you.
Oh, no matter what. Exactly. Because nobody is thinking exactly the same, period. So when you get into it, we touched on the politics and stuff like that. And, you got the identity politics.
Yep.
You're one group or you're not.
Oh, the gender dysphoria we got going on in this country?
Yeah, you got yeah. So I mean, there's another one.
That's a whole podcast on its own, but let's talk a little bit about it.
Well, you were saying how many genders are there now?
Last I checked, it was 74 plus, and that's still growing.
What?
That's the reason why they added the plus at the under the LGBTQ W ABC
Plus?
W what?
What?
I mean plus. Yeah, they added a plus on it because they keep adding more to completely just say, you know what, we can't cover lesbian. Hold on, let me go through this. LG, gay.
I guess my question would be
Go
is,
down the
is
list.
what is the DNA on those certain genders? 'Cause
I'm pretty sure God only created man and female, male
Right.
and female. I
Yeah.
mean, that's literally in the Bible, and there's
DNA
Yeah.
did not advance.
Wow. I did not advance. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
What'd you say? 74?
74 plus, and I went through a couple of them, and I just started.
Well,
all I heard was Charlie
again-
Brown. Wah, wah, wah,
Again,
wah, wah,
when
wah.
you go down this rabbit hole, you've got to accommodate everything and everybody. And there's always going to be something else, plus,
It's
plus,
someone
plus,
else.
plus, because somebody's going to come up with something. Because people just want to be different and unique.
Is one of those furries or I've heard something about
I
furries.
think I didn't see furries on that list, but yes, that's one of them.
You know what a
would be
furry
one
is,
of
right?
Someone who dresses up as a.
Who thinks they're a fox or a cat
well,
or
Were
yeah,
you
they-
with me when we saw one? We saw
don't
one.
think so.
No, I was actually. No, I think it was with the family. I was at Steak and Shake, and this individual walked by and had ears on its head and a tail poking out the back of its pants, and it was definitely a male, but it had looked like it had breasts on it.
Yeah.
And I had to do a double take,
Yeah.
and I think I asked the kids. I said, "Well, what the hell is that? I mean, what is that?" "Oh, Dad, that's a furry." I'm like,
Yeah.
"A what?" "Oh, that's when you think you're an animal and they act like." I'm like, "Wow."
Okay.
Well, the thing is, furries go even deeper than that. They have sex together as that animal. That's the biggest part of
Wasn't
the
there
furry.
like somebody talking about having like kitty litter boxes so they can go to the bathroom
yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
classrooms
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that
Uh-huh.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Now,
I mean, it goes.
you're taking my redneck ass on a big trip. Let me tell you what.
That is a mind meld right there.
You
I
better
mean, it's something
redneckinize.
Whoa. Now,
Spock
look.
ain't got nothing on that, baby.
You know,
jeez.
I don't care. I don't give a damn what you want to do at your house.
Yeah, your personal biz.
But don't expect me to play your game.
Correct.
Yeah.
100%.
Period.
I mean, role playing is generally for the people involved.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
They always say you don't want to know what your neighbors are doing.
Right.
They,
Yep.
they say
Thank
that.
you.
I don't want to know. I don't care what you do at your house, but don't get pissed off at me if I say, "Excuse me, sir," and you say, "I'm a fox." No, what the,
Yeah, uh huh.
You know-
well, you couldn't tell by the tail?
Oh, jeez.
What the hell's the matter with you, Ray?
Oh man, wow.
Well, the other thing of it too is why do we get so caught up in sexuality? Like, when you look at this gender dysphoria, it's all about your sexual preference and things like that. It's like why? Why does that even matter?
What does it matter? Again, I don't want to know what my neighbors are doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, John, you and I have talked about this. We say, like, you know what, do whatever you want outside your own, like, whatever. Don't bring it into my kids. You
Yeah.
you get it into my kids, we're going to have problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. They're bringing it into our into our classrooms.
Well, and not just the classrooms. It's happening at Disney.
Oh, yeah,
it's
Disney,
happening
you name
some
it.
of these other major,
Don't go into
corporations and stuff. I mean, it's on the TV. I mean, it's everything. I mean,
They ain't got a kitty litter box
It's going
big
into-
enough for me, baby. I mean,
It's
I
going
need
into our
some big ass
jobs.
high dry towel box or something like that. You know, I couldn't fit my ass in that.
you'd be
one
like a
of them
dog rubbing his ass on the carpet, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'd be doing that.
Hey, he'd have to be a giraffe furry.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh man.
Oh,
Man.
God.
But no, I mean, just like here's an example of someone canceled. I'm just gonna bring it up. But someone just came out article just today, and she got in trouble for saying something like this. I really want to thank my parents for not changing my gender when I went through my tomboy phase. I love this girly life, right? You know, could someone rub it the wrong way of like, hey, you know, like blah blah blah? I don't care. But guess what? She's allowed.
They could
to
always rub it the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly. She's entitled to. She's entitled to it. But here's the hate that she got back. It's like it's so easy to like be a scumbag human, sell your clip-ins and zip it. Insurrection Barbie. So this right here was Jason Aldean's wife. Jason Aldean's wife has also now, because of this, she's so frustrated. She literally created a clothing line called "Don't Tread on My Kids," and it's like it's Barbie themed. She's feeding off of everything that is like, oh, you want to call me a Barbie? I'm gonna make all these kids wear this stuff saying "Don't tread on my kids," because that's exactly what's going on. I mean, you even have Twitter and other companies right now like Gays Against Groomers. You have gay guys who are against against the kids that like they're pushing this on their kids.
Well, because the narrative has always been that you don't choose to be gay. It's either in you or it's not in you. That's what we've been told or taught.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if you have groomers, you're teaching people to do that.
Correct.
So it's
There you go.
contradictory to what you're saying. So
Yep.
it's either you're homosexual or you're not. You can't be taught to be a homosexual.
Yep.
Okay, hang on.
So I mean, you can't be taught
Hold
to
up,
be
the redneck
heterosexual.
has a question.
I know he's got questions.
Oh, you look lost. You okay?
Dude, I'm so lost. Okay. Groomer. Isn't that someone that takes care of your dog or your horse?
No,
or-
a groomer is somebody that's going to teach you or bring you up, like, like somebody could be groomed in a certain role. Like, say you got you're a carpenter. You're grooming that journeyman to be
okay.
a carpenter, but he's only he.
But
Gotcha.
they're
He's
adults
a-
grooming
he-
young kids.
we were
He's an
talking.
unskilled laborer.
Yeah.
You're grooming him to be a carpenter.
Okay.
They're saying now with the books and the teachings and all this social media that kids are being groomed to be homosexual.
Okay.
groomed to be
and-
LGBT,
And,
trans.
yeah, and now even
thought it was
even
an-
homosexuals are coming out and saying no.
Well, it's not
that's
even just
right.
homosexual. It's even like there's actually a thing called MAPS. Let's say attracted persons, like minor attracted persons. You're it's okay to be attracted to a
Well,
minor.
that's where they're going with this.
Yeah, exactly. That's
and
exactly where they're
people in
going
this
with it.
country better wake up because that's really the narrative they're trying to make pedophilia
Yep.
be okay.
So is
And
there
that's
a major
disgusting.
attractive person?
I thought maps is what I used to find
But
my way
let's
here.
not get caught up in
My
that
bad.
too
No,
long.
that's good,
No,
right.
get caught up in this one part because we got a few other parts that we
Yeah,
could.
absolutely.
The other part that's a really hot topic that we need to kind of touch on is race baiting. That's another thing that we got going on with PC culture.
Yeah.
Cancel culture is for some reason everything's about race now.
Yeah.
Now I tell you, I grew up in a different world because I had friends from all over. I mean, I had friends that were Polish, that were Portuguese, that were Puerto Rican, Cambodians. We all grew up, and you know what? We all clowned on each other. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be the first one to tell you we talked trash to one another, talked all kinds of different things with one another, messing with each other, making fun of each other, playing with each other, but we were all friends.
Right.
And it wasn't a culture of sensitivity.
Right. Right.
You know, and now it's like if you got to be very careful what comes out of your mouth, because if you say it the wrong way or even with the wrong tone, people get offended, or all of a sudden now you're a racist.
Well, not just that, but not just the person you're talking to, but somebody who might overhear who ain't got a damn bit of business in your business,
Yeah,
and they'll get offended.
they dip it in another man's Kool-Aid, don't even know the flavor.
Right.
Just saying.
It's asinine.
Well, and the other part of it too is the simplicity of it. If we would just do it the way that God tells us to do it,
Right.
we wouldn't have no problems because God tells you to look at the heart of a man.
Bingo.
So
Color
who
don't
cares
matter.
about the color, the ethnicity, the background, whatever? Let me tell you something, and I'm a firm believer in this. The greatest equalizer in this country is poverty.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
You know, we keep playing this game. It's about class. Let's cut all the bullshit with the race. They're the haves and the have-nots. You know, I mean, we were at a group a few weeks back, and me and this other dude, we were talking about growing up as kids, and both of us grew up on welfare in the system, right? And I said, yeah, I still eating ravioli out of a can. He started laughing, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, man, you get me? I'm like, I get you. Yeah, we get each other because we were both broke.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There weren't any more food stamps in my house because I was white than in his house because he was black. We were both poor.
Right.
And we both grew up in a housing project, in two different neck of the woods, living a certain way. And, you know, when you look back on it, that's actual, the equalizer is because poor has no prejudice.
Right.
Poor don't care what color you are, what your background is, or what your ethnicity is. You poor, you poor. And, you know, I think that's where we get it twisted in this country because there are a lot of people that relate to each other. You know, one of my favorite comedians I listen to is Lavelle Crawford. And we were sitting there watching it, and he was talking about the holidays, and he was talking about how, you know, growing up in his house, and you know how it was like growing up in a black household versus a white household. And I was telling Mike, I was laughing my ass off, saying, I don't know who these white people he's talking about because I feel like I grew up in his house.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like the stuff that he was saying, I was like, I'm feeling that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, this, you know, everybody gets a pony and a puppy and everything. That didn't happen in my house.
Nope.
You know, we come down the stairs to nothing. You know? And so I think that's one of the things that we got to get our heads back around in our country and in our culture today is that we got to get past this race baiting shit. You know, because at the end of the day, it ain't about race. It's about class in this country. It really is.
It's about power.
You know,
Power, class.
yeah, because there are people, you know, that are of other ethnicities that are doing a hell of a lot better than me,
Right.
and I don't hate them for it. Go get it.
Yeah, exactly. But people are trying to group them together.
Yep.
They're now saying, well, again, I don't know a whole lot about this stuff, but apparently there's white privilege. Like white people have privilege according to politicians.
Not in
and
my
all this stuff.
neighborhood.
Right. But apparently I just heard, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I heard that the Asians now are grouped into the white privilege
Yes.
because they do so well in schools.
Well, no, they do
and-
so well financially. They're the richest people in America are Asians and of Indian descent.
Yep.
So now they're grouping
So
them
they're not even
Yeah.
they're not even white people.
No.
So
They're not even Asian, you mean?
they're not Asians though. They're
So what I'm
Caucasian.
getting at is y'all use your
You can't
minds.
pick and choose, man.
Use your minds and see what's really happening. It's divide. Because here's the deal. Everybody, if you're divided, they can do whatever they want with you.
Sure.
They can guide you. They can say these people are bad, these people are good. You want to pay attention to these people, don't pay attention to those people. But if we're all together, if we have unity and we focus on unity, that scares the shit out of them.
Yep.
Well, there used to be an old management style where they would say, "Keep them all divided so you're loyal to the management staff."
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
keep them infighting and going at each other, and then they're loyal to me.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
that was an old management style back in the old days. You know,
Yep.
and that's really what's going on in this country. Like, get everybody fighting each other,
Yep.
and so they can be loyal to
Yeah.
us, the people of power.
Yep.
And if you don't know history, you're not gonna
Right.
know
Know it.
that, and
Exactly.
you're doomed to repeat
And
it.
that's exactly what they
Yep.
want. That's
And
exactly
and
what
there's
they
a
want.
guy out there right now that talks about this all the time, and they're trying to cancel him now. His name's Tom McDonald. That's all he brings up now. It's like he's making it easy for. I mean, people are just like, wait, what is he saying? But I mean, it's so true. You listen to any of his stuff, it's really good. So I mean, that's just a way that.
Well, he's shining a light on
Exactly.
something that's very polarizing.
Yep.
And what's happening is people are too scared to talk about it.
Correct.
Which to me that's a red flag in itself. If we can't sit down and have dialogue and conversation about something, that's a problem.
Yep.
I mean, if we've gotten to a place where we can't even sit down as men and just say, "Hey, well, what's going on with you here, or what's going on with you there, or how are you brought up?" See, I think diversity is a beautiful thing.
I agree.
And I think that when you have diversity, it's great because you learn from each other.
Yes.
You know, it's like, it's okay that we're different. We don't have to be the same.
Right.
That's the beautiful thing about it. You know, I didn't grow up the way you grew up, Mike. The way you grew up, Ray. The way that, you know, Big Sexy over there grew up. We all didn't grow up the same. And the color of our skin has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Right.
We were brought up in different places in the United States. We all grew up with different types of families. We all grew up in a certain different social status, a different economic status. I mean, but yet here we are. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And we get to sit down and have dialogue and conversation. So I guess at the end of the day, when we sit back and peel back the onion, the real question is what are we doing? You know, what's the end game here? What are we trying to accomplish? Division is not what we need in this country. We need unity. And if we don't start thinking like Jesus and start looking at the heart of a man, and we get caught up with the exterior of a man, we've already lost. We have already lost. Men, we already have an uphill battle as it is. We talked about it last week about how our masculinity is being attacked, and they're stripping the dignity of masculinity away from us. And then we're going to infight with each other because of our ethnicity and backgrounds and where we brought up, or our sexuality and all this other garbage. I'm telling you, man, it's a bunch of bullshit. And as soon as you buy into that trash, well, now they've got you. Well, tonight, we wage war. We wage war on cancel culture. We wage war on political correctness. We wage war on those that are trying to strip us from the very essence of who we are, our masculinity. There's a time to get up. There's a time to step up. There's a time to stand up. And it's time to man up. And if we can come together and do that, well, hell, that's where the rubber meets the road.